Hi guys, welcome back. Thanks so much for joining me. I am coming to you today from the unceded traditional territories of the Kwagil First Nations in North Vancouver Island. This afternoon, I'd really like to do some lower abdominal conditioning with you guys. So we're going to get right to it. We're going to find some comfortable positioning on our backs. Now I'm going to be enjoying some nice acupressure therapy, laying on these beautiful rocks here. We're going to take one block, place it in between the knees. The other block we're going to place in our hands. So before doing anything, we are going to take a deep breath. And if you see me here, I naturally have this little space between my back and my yoga mat. What I'm going to think about doing is as I take a deep breath in on my exhale, I want to draw the belly button down to the floor along with these bottom ribs, which like to flare upwards. Tuck everything down, flattening and closing the space between the back and the mat. From here on that next breath, my pelvis, I'm going to think of kind of curling my pelvis a little bit upwards just to create a bit of space between that lower back and the floor. Doing so by curling that pelvis upwards is going to start to engage this lower portion of the belly here between the pubic bone and the belly button. Continue to squeeze, pull everything down, tuck the ribs. On your next exhale, start to engage your pelvic floor. So when we talk about engaging our pelvic floor, I want you to think about if you have to really use the washroom in the most urgent sense possible. You want to squeeze, pull everything up and inwards as if you're sealing that entire area of the body closed. Good. One more deep breath in. And exhale, draw that belly button down a little bit harder. Perfect. So from here, we're going to take our yoga block in our hands. Your elbow pits are going to want to face inwards towards each other. What I want you to do is rotate them forward so they're facing towards your forehead. Pull those shoulder blades down, and with your pinkies, think you're scooping your hands away. So this kind of scooping motion, you should feel all these muscles down the side start to engage. Holding this positioning here, bring that block overhead, just to where the bottom ribs want to start to flare upwards and the back wants to lift. Exhale, bring it back. So to clarify, you want to keep your spine totally flat to the ground. You want to keep those bottom ribs tucked down and inwards. And when you're lowering this block overhead, the point that you stop is where you feel that form start to go away. So when you feel that back want to lift, when you feel those ribs want to flare, that's where I want you to stop and just come right back up. Good. Keeping that pelvic floor nice and strong. Keeping those shoulders drawn down towards the feet. Good. 3 more. 2. And 1. Good. From here, drop that block to 45 degrees, so like halfway to the ground. I want you to lift your knees off the ground here. Keep the knees stacked directly over top of the hips. Try to keep your shins parallel to the ground. Now, really important, think you want to drive your knees up to the ceiling so that you're almost lifting your lower back off your mat ever so slightly. That kind of upward drive of the legs and of the hips makes this little space between the back and the floor, which maybe it's happening, maybe it isn't. It actually doesn't matter if you're getting off the mat or not. What matters is you're going to feel the bottom part of your belly really start to squeeze. Holding it here, so drive those knees up as high as you can. Pull that pelvic floor in. Good. Keep these ribs tucked in. Wonder if you can hear those eagles up in the tree behind me. What a beautiful, beautiful song. Good. Keep squeezing for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Come on down. Take a little breather if you like. In the meantime, while you're having a sip of water, taking a little break, I'm going to show you the next exercise. You're going to place your block long side between the ankles. Here you can have your hands on the floor next to you. Palms down is going to make it a little bit easier because you can push a little bit off the ground. But ideally, you want to actually try to not use your hands whatsoever. So I'm going to suggest actually going palms to the sky. My ankles are going to be stacked directly over my hips. Now, if you're super tight in the hamstrings, you can bend the legs a little bit. That's okay. But try to see if you can straighten the legs out. Again, draw belly button down. Tuck those ribs inwards. And drive those heels up straight to the sky, lifting your lower back off the ground. Good. Again, feel that lower portion of the belly start to engage. Holding it here. Keep trying to maximize the amount of space you might have between your lower back and the floor. Think about spreading your shoulder blades apart behind you, pressing them evenly into the ground. And with your chin, just tuck your chin ever so slightly. As we're struggling, we tend to force our chins upwards. I want you to think, relax the neck, lengthen the spine, including through the neck. Tuck the chin, drive the heels a little higher. Ooh, I am shaking. Keep those ribs tucked. Pelvic floor stays strong for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Holding this positioning, we're going to bend the knees to 90. Come back up. Bend the knees. Come back up. So I'm keeping my knees stacked directly over the hips. My knees, ankles, and hips are all equal distance apart. I'm continuing to try to drive my knees upwards towards the sky to lift my lower back off the ground. Keep those ribs tucked inwards. Pelvic floor stays nice and strong, so think you're squeezing everything shut. And you may notice that block between the ankles might be wobbling ever so slightly. That's okay. Keep it going. Good work. Pelvic floor stays strong. Keep driving those knees upwards. Last one. Good. Bring it down. Whew. Ay caramba. Feeling that one. Good. So from here, we are going to, again, bring our knees over top of the hips. Just as before, pull everything down, flatten the spine to the ground, tuck the ribs, try to drive those knees upwards, lifting that lower back off the ground. Taking our hands, we're going to place them against our legs. Try to push your knees away from you as hard as you can. While you're pushing with your hands, think you're counter pressuring with your legs into the palms of your hands. So what's happening is a whole lot of nothing. We're not really moving anywhere, but you should be feeling that lower belly start to burn. Holding it here. And breathe for 5, 4, 3. Drive those knees upwards, 2, and 1. Good. And come down. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Gonna feel that one tomorrow. Oh, there's a beautiful eagle just flew right over my head. He's so pretty. Good. So we can drop our knees side to side here. Just to release for a sec if we need to. Oh yeah. And from here, come on up. We're now going to be on our forearms. So here it's very tempting to sag through the chest and kind of round out the spine. I want you to think flat lower back, nice long elongated flat spine here. Lift that chest up, push away from the ground with the forearms. We're going to have one leg kind of just with our knee bent floating just above the floor. Our other leg is going to be nice and straight. We're going to exhale as we bring it straight up and down. Straight up and down. So I want you to think you're squeezing through the belly to pull that thigh as close to the chest as possible without rounding out through that lower back or slouching down. Do you see what a difference it makes? If I slouch my back, I can really bring my leg high. If my back is nice and straight, I'm hinging at the hips to just lift the leg using the belly. So if you see me here, this is what my midsection looks like instead of this, okay? Big difference. I also have a really lovely rock pushing right into my right glute. Feels awesome. Good. On this next one, we're going to lift, hold it here, pulse, 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 pulse. And I'm trying to keep as little amount of pressure in that back leg as possible. Lower it down and hold for 5, 4. Keep the chest lifted. And 1. Switch. So float this foot. Exhale, bring the leg up into the chest. Inhale down. Exhale up. Inhale down. Good. Really press the chest up to the sky. Lengthen through the spine. Hinging at the hips. Pulling that pelvic floor up and inwards. Good stuff. Last one. Hold it up here. Pulse, 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 pulse. And bringing it down, holding it here. Pelvic floor is strong. And release. Good stuff. From here again, bring your hips side to side just to release. You can kind of shake it out, whatever you need to do. Feel free to grab some water as well. So next what we're going to do, I'm going to show you actually from this angle here. Again, we're going to be doing, great big rock right in the back. Perfect. Definitely chose my workout space very wisely today. So we are going to do the same thing as before. So ankles, knees, and hips are all stacked one above each other. Again, I'm trying to press my feet, so drive the feet straight to the sky, keeping my ankles stacked over the knees. So don't pull them towards your face to come forward and up, but rather just go straight up, lifting that lower back off the ground, feeling that belly, the lower portion of the belly start to engage. From here, I'm going to rotate my knees in. So I'm rotating from the hips. I'm going to drop one leg down, keeping my thighs rotated inwards. Exhale up. Down. Exhale up. Good. Good. Inhale down. Exhale up. 3, 2, and 1. Other side. Keep those thighs rotated inwards. So think the rotation is coming from the hip joints. With this straight leg, try to keep it totally still, driving it upwards towards the ceiling, lifting that lower back off the ground. Good work. Nice and strong. Keep those bottom ribs tucked inwards. Keep that spine flat to the ground. 3, 2, and 1. From here, we're going to rotate the legs outwards now. So again, from the hips, rotated out. Drop one leg down. Exhale up. With this leg here, keep driving that foot up to the sky. So again, think you're trying to almost lift that bum cheek off the floor. Spine is pulled down flat to the ground behind you. Pelvic floor stays nice and strong for 3, 2, and 1. And switch. Coming down. Inhale down. Exhale up. Our lower bellies are going to feel this tomorrow. Keeping it going. And 3 more. Keep those knees rotated out. 2, and 1. Good. From here, we're going to bend our knees. You might want to grab a yoga block. Actually, grab both. We'll place one between the knees, one between the ankles, like so. I'm going to bend my knees at 90. So again, my knees, I'm going to show you from both directions here. My knees are going to be stacked over the ankles, 90-degree bend, shins parallel to the floor. You can have your arms out to the side like this. This will make it a little bit easier for you. Harder is going to be to the side close to you, and the hardest is going to be up to the sky. I'm going to suggest always starting easiest or more intermediate, like in an A-frame, just to try it out. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring my hips over to one side as far as I can get them while keeping my back shoulder flat to the floor. Exhale, bring it back. Inhale, bringing it over. Exhale, bring it back. Good. Keeping it going. You want to ensure that while you're doing this, you're pressing your knees up to the sky, keeping that lower back off the ground when you come back to center. Good. So again, my shins are parallel to the floor here, 90-degree bend. Good job. And other side, coming over and up, over and up, over. Exhale, bring it back. Keep driving those knees upwards. Good, keeping it going. Give me 3 more. 2, and 1. Good stuff. Bringing it down. From here, we're going to place one block in between our feet. Knees are going to be over the hips here. Can actually come up onto our forearms. Find myself a little divot here in the rocks. So knees stacked over the hips, press the chest up, nice straight back here. I'm going to do a little butterfly motion with my legs, bringing my knees out and in, out and in, out and in. So you're going to feel the inner thighs start to activate. Keep breathing. Keep these ribs tucked inwards, spine drawn down, pelvic floor nice and strong. Good job. Good. Holding it here. See if you can avoid shaking. My block is shaking like a leaf. Good. Bring those knees into the chest. Push the chest to the sky. Flat back, so don't sag. If I sag through the back, I can bring the knees really close, but that's not really what I want to do here. Flat back, lift the chest. Hinge at the hips. Use the belly to draw the thighs in. Down, tap the block. Exhale, bring the thighs in, nice flight, flat back, chest is lifted. Come down, tap the ground. Again. Good. Again. Pelvic floor stays nice and strong. Good. Really try not to slouch through the back. Great work. And 5, 4. Ooh, I'm going to drop my block. 3, 2, and 1. Good. And release. Whew. You can shake it out here. Feel free to sit back. You can do a little bit of rotations through the legs here just to release through those hip flexors. Hoo, 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 hoo. Feeling great. Good stuff. So our final exercise for this workout, you're going to want to take your resistance band. Now, I only have my heavy one. You probably want to go a little lighter than this for this one, but it's fine. Whatever you have, if you only have one, make it work. It just means your range of motion will just look a little bit different. Doesn't really matter what it looks like. What really matters is what you're feeling in your body. So, once again, our favorite, oh, let me just get these rocks out of my sacrum. Hi-ya-ya. So, again, just as before, I think you're driving your heels up to the sky to lift that lower back off the ground. I'm going to have one leg that's stabilizing, which means it's like not moving, and then the working leg, which will be moving. I'm going to do my best with the stabilizing leg to always drive that heel straight upwards to get that butt cheek off the floor and not let it move. With my working leg, I'm going to come across. So I'm making like an X, bringing it all the way across my body, using the belly to draw that ankle up towards the floor behind me, and then using the same side ab to pull it all the way out, down to make like a semicircle to cross behind. All the way up, around, all the way to like that top corner of your mat, all the way down behind to that bottom corner of the mat. Try not to let this leg get pulled. Easier said than done. Good. Keep driving that leg up to the sky. Good. Try to keep your lower back off the ground. Last one here. Good. Other side. Bring that ankle across. Whew. Feeling this one. Good. Again. Lower back, try to lift it off the ground. Pelvic floor nice and strong. Remember to really cross this working leg all the way across the stabilizing leg on either side. Keep those ribs tucked. Pelvic floor is strong. Last one. Good. And from here, just fix your band there. Place it around the ankles. I've got a lovely rock right in my spine. There we go. From here, again, drive the heels upwards. And now we're going to pulse our legs out as far as we can get them. Out, out. Keep lifting that lower back off the ground. Drive the heels up, tuck the ribs. If this feels okay for you, you can actually place your hands behind your head and just gently float your head off the ground. Don't reef hard on your neck. So you don't want to be here. Think lengthen and relax the neck, tuck that chin. There should be really no pressure in your neck whatsoever. Your hands are just there to let your head rest, but just float off the ground so that you can feel the upper belly engage a little bit more. Good. Keep driving those heels up. Good job. Lower back off the ground if we can. Pelvic floor strong for 3, 2, and 1. Oh yeah. Great work. So let's take a sec here. Release these muscles that have just worked so hard. So we're going to flip over onto our belly here. Hands go at chest level. Try to relax that lower back. Unclench the booty cheeks and just let those hips sink down to the floor. Good. Draw those shoulders down and away from the ears. Press your heart up to the sky. You can do a gentle little look to one side and a little gentle twist to the other. Try to avoid putting a lot of torsion in your spine. It's more just a really small twist just to get deeper into the belly here. Good. From here, draw that belly button into the spine. Round out that lower back. Good. Feel free to hug in towards your thighs, grabbing onto your feet. Round that spine upwards. Beautiful. Good. And release. Good stuff. From here, we'll just do a really quick stretch again for, I really feel this in my hip flexor as well as in my lower belly. So you can use your yoga blocks if you like to kind of splint you to come up. I'm going to think of scissoring my hips in towards each other. So this front hip, pull it back. This back hip, pull it forward. With my pelvis, I'm going to think of kind of tilting a little bit forward. Good. And then from here, I'm going to take the arm that corresponds with that back leg. I'm going to reach straight to the sky. Now here, if you need, you can have a yoga block here to kind of help support you a little bit. And if this feels okay, you're going to take this hand, reach it all the way to the other side of that hip, and lean back. Feel a nice stretch all through that lower belly. Beautiful. And release, other side. And again, you're always welcome to hold stretches for much longer. Always welcome to do your own stretches at the end as well. So again, scissor these hips in towards each other. Reach the same side as the back leg. Hand up to the sky. Front hand reaches all the way around. A little back bend. And as always with my videos, if you're enjoying them, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Maybe drop me a loving little comment at the bottom. Always makes my day. And as always, thank you so much for joining. I really hope you enjoyed today's workout, and I look forward to seeing you again.